phenomenal decade run as an NFL stud linebacker and special teamer. Ladies and gentlemen, friend of the program, Will Compton.
What's up, boys?
Aren't you? Are you at our segment?
Yeah. Brother, you requested me to come on. I've been telling everybody, hey, I'm going on the Pat McAfee Show. I'm going on the Pat McAfee Show. We walk over here, the security guy's like, hey, what are you doing? I was like, isn't Pat set up over here? And he's like, oh, he doesn't get in until tomorrow. And then I'm learning that it's a Zoom time and I don't get to see the boys and hug you in person. But yeah, I'm snuck on your set right now. They got you set up nice. There's JP in the back.
Hey, what's up, JP? Hey, how's the desk? Is the desk seem to be sturdy? That is hilarious.
The desk is good. I was working on my Pat McAfee pose. I was trying to get all this stuff, make sure everything's set up right. But you're set up nice out here.
Thank you for doing that. You and me, ADD both. Make sure that thing can move, get up, get down. You know you got to do it all. You were that's hilarious, by the way. Will, you are a classic human being. Continue to be so, and I can't wait to watch the heights that you'll soar alongside Bussin With The Boys, Taylor Lewan. Speaking of, last night you guys kind of won, opening night at the media day. Is that the first time you've been there? What was the energy like, and how do the boys feel? Feels like everybody's kind of calm and ready for the game.
Yeah, so last year we got to do Radio Row. We didn't get to hit the media day, but this year we got the credential to get into media days, and it was kind of like we didn't know what to expect. It's kind of, hey, let's kind of use our physical stature to sneak up to the front and then just obnoxiously yell at the boys who kind of knew that we were going to be there and just have like fun questions. Like we got to ask Andy Reid about the cheeseburgers. We got to ask Travis Kelce. He's like, oh, I see you got the Travis Kelce fan. I was like, brother, what was it like benching 315? But we just asked a lot of fun questions and it was a great time. Like me and Taylor sniffed the Super Bowl. I never sniffed the Super Bowl. So just being around all of that, it's been incredible.
Okay. So you got some great answers. I did see from Taylor Lewan's question that the New Heights podcast gave credit to Bussin With The Boys for being the inspo. That is fantastic news. And you said that you wanted to use your physical stature to maybe get some maybe respect from those who are up on the thing. Did you hear this rumor? And obviously you're Tennessee Titan and Coach Vrabel's favorite player from what I've been told. Yeah. Did you hear that Diana Rossini said that when she was down at the Senior Bowl, one GM told her that Vrabel's physical stature in those meetings is kind of scary to some people. And that might be why he didn't get hired as a head coach after getting fired from the Tennessee Titans. Now, obviously, this is an alley-oop for us to go about 1,000 different ways here on the fact that a football coach is not getting hired because he's too much of an alpha, he's too big of a dog, he's in too good a shape, he's too much of a specimen. Right. That is what football is in its whole. But how do you feel about that? And what are your thoughts on Vrabes not having a job seemingly in 2024 in the NFL?
So I think Vrabel, he's just enjoying his time right now. I think he's probably got a lot of different options. I mean, when you're a head coach that gets fired, you got a nice little buyout so you can kind of sit back and weigh what options, kind of pick your right situation. I saw Diana yesterday. I said, hey, Diana, you're kind of going viral on one of them those little bot news programs out there. And she was laughing at us. She's like, yo, I know, like, they're taking me out of context, yada, yada. But speaking on Mike Vrabel's presence and stature when he walks into a room, that is spot on. I'm talking about the intimidation factor of Mike Vrabel is 10 out of 10. But as a football guy, that is exactly what you want in the building. The dude commands respect. I think that some of that bullshit that these little bot Twitters out there have, like, they just report reports. They make up shit. They say breaking like it's the most insane thing going on right now. And I think it was taken out of context. I hate it because I know Vrabel, he'll be hitting the jewel and he'll be scrolling and he'll see it and he'll get a little, hey, what's going on here? So I think it was a little out of context.
Yeah, hitting a jewel, chewing a gin, also with some coke, taking a Marlboro, chugging a beer. Like, he is everything that is like old school dude. Football guy. Yeah. Like, he's everything you would want and a phenomenal football coach. We listened to the clip that Diana Rossini said it. She certainly kind of laid it out as a GM saying that is potentially one of the reasons, not necessarily the reason. And back to your point about these aggregator accounts, buddy, they've thrown us into like 6 wars right now, just taking our stuff and throwing us into it's not good. It's good.
Crazy.
It's good the amount of people that are in, like, fans of the NFL and passionate, want to cover it. But, man, there's some real narratives being built that just aren't real at all happening in our world in real time, Will.
Yes, and then they just, because you're right, it's like they do, like, they cover stuff that you're kind of like, okay, it's good to see this right now. I guess they got it first, yada, yada, whatever it is. Or they're just reporting a report. But there's times where you're just like, you're literally doing this just to, what do they call it, farm engagement. But I think it's insane because they're just, I don't know. Now, you saying that Diana actually said that, I feel like that's a little bit of a different story. As a bad brain that follows the internet, sometimes I just see the bot post and I just get a little triggered myself. Yeah. But if she's quoted saying that, Diana, you gotta learn to pick your words wisely, especially when you know Coach Braves is out there. He's looking, he's watching.
Yeah, that's hilarious to think of him just, oh, is that right? Is that right?
What's that? All right.
Is that what it is? Is that? And Rossini, the context and how you deliver the words matter. That's why whenever it's just typed up, it can be different. I don't think she was saying it as a matter of fact, more so as she heard it could be a possibility. Nonetheless, that should not be a possibility in the NFL whenever we're talking about winning some damn games. Darius has a question for you, Will.
Well, I know you're out there and it's early in the week, but it's been that you have boots on the ground. What's the early vibe check from both teams right now, San Fran and KC?
I'll tell you what, the energy last night was fun. Just because some of the boys are going back and forth when they were up on stage. A lot of boos coming from the 49ers faithful. Yeah. A lot of cheers when any Niner would speak, and they're all up there together. So it was fun to be around because the atmosphere, you can tell fans are showing up, they're showing out. Allegiant Stadium is just magnificent, possibly the greatest stadium in the NFL, built by the one and only Max Crosby. But the energy right now is all-time A+, 10 out of 10.
Speaking of Allegiant Stadium, Tone's got something for you, Will.
Yeah, Will, I believe you're in the Ring of Honor for the Raiders, so I figured I'd ask you about Antonio Pierce being the head coach, a fellow linebacker being a head coach. How do you feel about Antonio Pierce being the head coach of your esteemed program?
Brother, I appreciate you bringing that up. I do want to point out that there is a brick with my name on it at Allegiant Stadium, etched in history forever.
Once a Raider.
To talk, always a Raider, brother. AP, man, you see, like, Pat, when an entire locker room is behind a head coach and wanting them to get the job. Like we saw it the first time around with Rich Bisaccia. He didn't get the gig. You go McDaniel, you realize that's a mistake. And then you have AP. You make the right decision by hiring AP. I think everybody says, you guys do a great job covering it. He embodies everything it means to be a Raider. Culture, attitude, leadership. He's a player. It's a player-led locker room with him having a pulse at all times. That is super important in an organization, and it seems like he's making the right moves, hiring the right guys, and making sure they keep going and build on that momentum next year.
Max Crosby said the first day that he was interim coach, the Soul Train line came back, and then the mini hoop came back in the entire thing. And he's been like going to bat for him since the beginning. I saw you were on his podcast, right? You stopped by. We love Max. How's he doing? Recovering from a surgery?
He's the best. He does a great job. I texted him. I saw he got a second surgery and thought he fractured his forearm and was playing through it or something. I'm like, hey, brother, are you all good? He's like, oh, I just got my thumb fixed. I'm like, dog, stop showing out for social media out there, talking about unbreakable. More is required. But dude, Max is the absolute best. We love busting balls, but it's crazy to think that he got drafted in the 5th round, has a story that he has, and truly is about being just the greatest player of all time. I think he got second in something, and he just responds, more is required. It's like, brother, you are the man. And he just always wants to chase that extra 1% that guys are obsessed with chasing every offseason.
Yeah, and just taking the surgery stuff and just getting a whole body tattoo.
Yeah.
That's sick.
Awesome.
That's real commitment. That's I didn't even know that was possible. Hey, you're going to have 17 portraits on your body when you wake up in about 8 hours. You're going to have maybe the coolest tattoo on your whole body tomorrow morning when you wake up. Would you like to do that? Sure.
Yep,
I'm in there. Good. He looks awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, his body decoration is
great.
And he never stops. And that doesn't make any sense. Well, obviously, you're known for just having – hard hat guy, first one in, last one out.
High motor,
yeah. Coach's son, the whole thing. He epitomizes that times 50, it feels like, Max Crosby. How hard he goes all the time. I feel like it's, obviously abnormal, but he's the picture of everything they say about white dudes that play certain positions.
I'll tell you what, he's starting on my team. I don't know if you want to get into that, but he's definitely starting on my squad. But, dude, Max, he's got the intangibles, right? He's got the tangibles all combined. It's like, DB, Pat, off seasons where you feel like you went so hard just to have, set yourself up for a good year. And there are times when you're on the field getting gassed, and knowing that Max is a pass rusher, setting the edge of a play, getting after the quarterback, down in and down out, like the entire game.
Yeah.
And the fact that he's able to
100%
keep
of
that
plays.
motor,
100%.
it blows my mind because I'm thinking like, man, I felt like I worked pretty hard, but I'd be out there gassed. Like, God, I hope they like check it down or the boys get home. Like, I got to run deep middle. I'm trying not to run that far. But Max is just like on constantly at all times. And he's the best, man. He's the king of the city. He's in the silver and black. He's tatted. He's got the face mask, the visor, the surgeries, the history to go with it. I can't say enough good things about the boy.
The cigars. I mean, everything about him.
The cigars.
What a perfect pillar for the Raiders in Antonio Pierce going forward.
Motor's crazy. And usually when the guy has a motor like that, they're not, that talented. So they got to outwork everybody. But he has the talent and the motor combined. Absolute dog. Perfect Raider.
It feels like before he had all the talent. And then now he's like kind of put all the everything aside too. And he's like laser locked in.
Yeah.
Lucky to have him. Taylor! What's up, dude?
What's up, babe? Hey, I can't hear a word you're saying, but you look fantastic as always. You guys have a great show.
Hey, ask him how Blackjack's going.
Hey, Taylor, they want to know how Blackjack's going. Tell them the truth.
So it's been positive. I will say this. I had my buddy Kenny Proden in town, small town guy doing house renovations. We were able to win 100 last night. Cost the boy 30. It was a very beneficial day for the boys. Hopefully you can come out and play. I know AJ's in.
100,000, he said.
Yeah, 100,000. 100,000.
So he's up 70? Like, hey, he's up 70,000?
Yeah. Taylor was up 100, and Taylor's kind of asking like how everything's going, and the boy was like, I got some mold going on in my house, the kids. Taylor's like, don't you worry, brother.
That's awesome.
That's a phenomenal. I've seen it on the internet. Just Taylor and Uncle Dana go into a room, seemingly a private room, with a dealer, and then there's just hundreds of thousands of dollars walking out the door, seemingly every single time. Now, it seems like it's a ride, though. Taylor almost dies every single time, almost has to remortgage the house and everything, but then by the end of the night, he's out. Is that an accurate depiction of how it goes?
Yeah, he's had a couple tough nights, but Dana, I asked him the other day, I said, Dana, have you ever, do you know of anybody else that wins like Taylor? He's like, Taylor's the only friend that I know that is up on Vegas and knows Vegas nothing.
And he's shuffling cards behind you right now?
Yeah, he's shuffling.
Thank you, Taylor. We appreciate that.
It is wild. We're back there. They're like, hey, you guys want ice cream? And it's like, if you guys are giving us some ice cream, back here.
Yeah, well,
you got some tunes going, and it's a different world out here.
Yeah, you guys are living out in Vegas, seemingly. It's fantastic to follow along with. Con Man's got a question for you.
Yeah, well, something going on in Vegas. And this is a very serious question because you said this is Max Crosby City in Las Vegas, but it sure sounds like it's the Coyote City in Las Vegas right now. Apparently, a former NFL player or current NFL player, rather, was bit by a coyote last night. You are boots on the ground. Yeah, here it is. Super Bowl attacked by a coyote last night at Lake Las Vegas. Yes, there's a lake. Who the hell was this player? Do you know who it is? And can you find out if you don't already know immediately?
Con, brother, I do not know, but now that you said that story, I will be boots on the ground, and I will find that answer for you, bro.
Yes,
and I will get that message passed to you. But what a story to have. That Super Bowl week, I get attacked by a coyote and live to tell the story.
Oh, so it's you. Hey, way to go,
Wow,
Will.
good work.
Way to go, Will. Did you kick it in the mouth? That's fantastic. Last question here for you as you're enjoying our set it rate. It's a nice set, right? It feels like it's a nice set.
Dude, they got you hooked up. You got a basketball goal right there. You got a little putt course. The couches look phenomenal. They're covered right now. The lights, like I told you, they're off, but you're in good hands for the rest of the week.
Yeah. What, did you just walk right in there? Is there anybody saying like, hey, don't go in there?
I'll show you. It's that old guy right there. Hey, you see that there's a rope, and I was kind of standing on the outside. He's like, hey, brother, you can't go in there. I was like, hey, listen, I know it's going to sound crazy. I was FaceTiming with Pat, and he was saying that I could come use the studio. And he's like, okay. We had to talk a little bit of wrestling. I was like, hey, how you feel about Roman Reigns, The Rock? Are you pissed off like everybody else?
Whoa.
Cody,
Finish the story.
How do you feel, Will? How do you feel about it?
Listen, I'm not I loved wrestling growing up. So The Rock, Stone Cold, it fired me up when that "if you smell" just comes out of nowhere. I'm electric. But reading all of the comments, reading how massive it is, I'm not in a generation now to feel that strongly about Cody. What I do think happens is all that negativity is good negativity, and The Rock is so calculated. I saw he's already dropping another Under Armour line coming out.
Today?
Like, the dude's just in there. Yeah, today. Like, he knows what he's doing. He's going to play heel a little bit. People are pissed off. But I think it's good for the sport. It's bringing those generations that loved his time, like myself, back into the fold. Like, I kind of want to see what's going on. Everybody that hates him is going to continue to watch, so it's just going to grow it even more.
It has been a fascinating, like, social study because it is, like, generational now.
Oh, yeah.
Crazy.
It is like a generational type thing happening, and nothing's been made official yet, which I think was the big storyline last night. Like, when I got to Monday Night Raw, me and Cole were talking. I'm like, Friday was crazy. And Cole's like, nothing's been made official. I'm like, no, I saw it on the air. Everybody's pissed. He's like, nothing has been made. We have not said Thursday we're doing it. It's like, all right, well, everybody on earth was talking, Will. And the fact that The Rock is right in the middle of it is just obvious.
Classic.
That's how it goes. Yeah, exactly. Last question here for you, Will. Ty, go ahead, pal.
Will, another team that you're a surefire, Ring of Honor member, Hall of Famer, the Washington Commanders. We saw recently you weighed in on the whole RG3 Jay Gruden situation, which was awesome. But now we're hearing Ben Johnson basically was supposed to potentially be the head coach there. He said, hey, listen, these are basketball guys in their front office, all right? They're not football guys. I don't want to be there. They hired Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury. Do you think the Commanders are one of those teams who are kind of just destined to be shitty forever once you left? And, do they have the right guys in place to turn things around, do you think?
Potentially. You guys know how this game works. Dan Quinn, I'm sure he'll get a couple years, tops, to see if it's going to be a program that's on the rise. But everything that I've heard about DQ, like when Shanahan, LaFleur was on that staff, Nick Williams, this little scrappy receiver, had all the intangibles in the slot. He was with the Falcons that I spent time with in Washington. And the way that they say, Dan ran the culture and everything else, a lot of Pete Carroll-esque. And they just talked about how the vibes all the time, like similar stuff, basketball go in, like the team's bought in. There's a theme of every day of the week. Like, I do think that they have a good guy at the head coaching helm. And as far as Ben Johnson, if you're a coordinator now and seeing the way the NFL is with not giving guys a lot of time, I saw Tony Dungy. He had a really good tweet, I think this morning or yesterday, about, hey, how about these coaches in their first 2 years? And they were abysmal. And he's like, we wouldn't have seen 9 of their Super Bowls had they have been ran like the way the NFL runs these coaches out these days. So I feel like when you're a coordinator and a promising looking one like Coach Ben Johnson with Detroit, you really want to pick the right situation. You don't just want to grab at anything. So I'm not saying that there's negative stuff surrounding Washington. That's always that potential. But at the same time, he's in such a good culture and such a good staff that, hey, wait for the perfect opportunity to go. Because Dan, all of them, he's competing with Coach Glenn with the DC on head coaching jobs. They're all talking. They're all supporting each other. So he's probably just waiting on the right opportunity to leave Detroit and go lead a football team.
The Raiders seemingly trying to change a little bit in it. They only offered Cliff Kingsbury, allegedly, from what we're hearing, a 2-year deal as opposed to the standard 3-year deal. And that's why he was with the Raiders. Now he's at the Commanders because the Commanders gave him a 3-year deal. But it makes sense to shorten with how everything is going. To your point, it's like if you don't fire a coach, the perceived notion to your fans who are very loud on social media is that you don't care. You don't want to win. But if you stick with them and build a little patience, maybe you'll win long term. But we don't got time for that, Will. We want to win right now, especially with these Houston Texans assholes doing what they did down there. Will, enjoy the hell out of the week, brother. We appreciate you stopping by.
Boys, I love you guys. Pat, thanks for having me. You guys are the best.
Hey, Bussin' With The Boys. When episodes drop when?
Every Tuesday. Today we're dropping at 6 p.m. Central, but usually in that evening slot, morning slot, Tuesday. We let you know. Follow us on Twitter, boys, at Bussin WTB.